What's up YouTube, Dell here from Zephyr, and today I'm bringing you an update to my favourite deck of the entire game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And that is of course, Dark Magician. Now because of Justice Hunters and the introduction of the brand new art type Dracotails, the deck now actually has a way to utilise a hand trap to summon Dragoon turn 0, which is insane. Now it's not just the ability to activate and get access to Dragoon turn 0, but it's also the ability to get access easier to Dragoon and some of our fusion plays. So I'm going to take you through the list, show you what we've got, explain why we've got those particular cards, and then talk you through kind of the interactions and the synergies between the two. So with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe so you miss out on any more upcoming content. Starting off with the Dark Magician cards themselves, we are on 2 Dark Magician. So obviously the deck does revolve around Dark Magician. It wouldn't be a Dark Magician deck if you didn't have Dark Magician involved. You can add Dark Magician Girl to the deck as well, and the benefit of something like that is if you do get the ability, you can actually fusion someone into Dark Magician Girl the Dragon Knight, and that will give you the effect to be able to have a quick effect to destroy a face-up card on the field, which can be quite useful, but I would probably save something like that for a Dracotail Dark Magician Girl build, just because then you'll rely on Dark Magician Girl a little bit more consistently. We're then on 2 Illusion of Chaos. Now again, as another note, quite like the Blue Eyes one, is if you wanted to add Dragon Master Magia to the deck, you could consider something along the lines of a King of the Swamp. And the benefit of something like that is because you're naturally playing Illusion of Chaos, I would arguably take out the Preparation of Rites and go for 3 Illusion of Chaos to increase your consistency. But if you were to open up the Dracotail plus your Illusion of Chaos and your King of the Swamp, you could just go into a Dragon Master Magia during your opponent's turn, which would be really kind of cool. But if you were to do something like that, I would probably want to make it as consistent as possible and look towards playing the Dogmatica package as well. Carrying on, we are on 3 Magician Souls, like being able to get Dark Magician from deck to the grave, being able to get Dark Magician from the deck to the grave or the deck to the field can be really, really useful. And then being able to send some of your Dracotail spells and traps, being able to sometimes recycle them can be really, really useful to give you a bit more draw power. Then for your ideal starter for the Dark Magician side of the deck, we are on 3 Magician's Rod. Now there is a bit of a clash between Magician's Rod and of course the Dracotail Lucias, which I am focusing on a little bit more. The difference is this will only trigger on normal summon, whereas this can trigger on normal or special, and that's when you're going to want to utilize to your best of your ability the Secturion Dragon, because that's going to allow you to revive a dragon or a spellcaster from the grave, and that's when you're going to utilize your Lucas a little bit more because you're going to be able to send from deck to the grave with some of your fusion spells. Then for the final Dark Magician-esque monster, the one Tamias United Dragon, I still think it's an incredibly good card for the deck. Being able to put it to the top of the deck with something like a Soul Servant, being able to draw it, being able to search it, everything you need to then be able to fuse, and it's being your counterpart of the dragon for what you need is really, really important. Then for the spells, we are on 3 Soul Servant. Like, you want to try and stack your deck legally where it's all possible. And I always do like the good old-fashioned combo of Activate Dark Magical Circle, Chain Soul Servant. Again, if you were to utilize Dark Magician Girl in the deck, you would end up trying to work your way into getting 2 draws off of this. But there are just times where you go Dark Magical Circle, Chain Soul Servant, add the card you stack, and then have the ability of banishing the Soul Servant if you have access to Dark Magician to draw a fresh card as well. 1 Secret of Dark Magic, and then 1 Eternal Soul. Pretty straightforward and simple on this one. Like, if you want to get early doors fusion plays, you can go straight for the Secret of Dark Magic off of your Magician's Rod, and that's how you could start to activate or get access to your Dracotail cards as well, because you can utilize them as fusion materials, and as long as you're using Dark Magician, you'll be able to use Secrets of Dark Magic. Moving on to the Dracotails. Now, this card is absolutely insane. It's the Famina. So the Famina has the ability that during the main phase, you get a quick effect to discard this card to fusion summon a dragon or spellcaster fusion monster from your edge deck, use a monster from the hand or field. If it's used as fusion material for a fusion summon, you get to set a Dracotail spell or trap from the deck. Now, the benefit of something like this is whether it's during your opponent's turn or your turn, you can activate this card, utilize your hand during your opponent's turn or the hand and field during your turn, and that will give you a way to either dodge targeted effects, but can also work you into some very powerful fusion monsters, whether that be a form of disruption during your opponent's turn, or whether that be the form of being able to kind of set up a bit more of a field, extend a little bit more, and go from there. There are no direct kind of blocks with this card as well. There's not a block to say you can only summon Dracotails, and it only summons Dracotails. Like, it's really kind of cool card that gives you the dragons or the spellcasters, which is where you're going to get access to more of your Dark Magician cards. Then we do play 3 of the Lucias. Again, I really like this card. On normal or special, you add a Dracotail monster from the deck to the hand, except itself. And if it's sent to the grave as material for a fusion summon, you get to set a Dracotail spell or trap from the deck. We're then on to Mululu. Now the reason we're on to Mululu is for the pure fact that this is a dragon that can be utilised as fusion material for some of your Dragoon plays, but on top of that as well, the difference between this and Blue Eyes is Blue Eyes wants to naturally go into Synchros and wants to naturally go into Links, whereas Dark Magician can play a little bit more into the fusions. So the on-field effect of the Dracotail Mululu actually has more benefits. So that during the main phase, you get a quick effect to fusion summon a Dracotail fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from the hand or field. You can't special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except fusion, so it's absolutely fine if you're able to get this back from the graveyard to the field. If you're able to use it as your normal summon, not ideal, you'd want like Rod, Lucas, and then the Mululu, but it gives you that ability to do so. On top of that as well is if this card is sent to the graveyard as fusion material, which being a dragon effect monster is actually really important for this strategy, you get to set a spell or trap from the deck or a Dracotail from the deck spell or trap zone, sorry. But then on top of that as well, you can also negate the effects of one face-up monster your opponent controls. So if you open up this, plus your Femina, and then of course like a Dark Magician, that's Dragoon with a set spell or trap, with a negate, and then on top of that as well, your Dragoon has that Omni-Negate on top of it. So it's a really kind of core component for this particular version of the deck. Then we do play the one Yugioh and the one Pan. Now, Pan is if it is sent to the graveyard as material for a fusion, you get to set a Dracotail spell or trap from the deck. Then you get to destroy one monster on the field. If a face-up fusion monster or monster you control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect while this card is in the grave, you get to place this card onto the bottom of the deck, and if you do, special summon a non-fusion Dracotail monster from the deck. Then with your Yugioh is if this card is sent to the graveyard as material for a fusion summon, you get to set a Dracotail spell or trap from the deck, and then you get to destroy a spell or trap on the field. If this card is in the graveyard, you get to target a spellcaster Dracotail monster in your graveyard, place it on the bottom of the deck, and if you do, add this monster back to that. You place this on the bottom of the deck, and if you do, you add that monster back. So it's ways to recycle your Femina as well to give you that ability to have that quick effect during the main phase again. Then we are on free Ketu Dracotail. So this one allows you to add a Dracotail monster from the deck to the hand, and then if your opponent controls a monster, you get to fusion summon a dragon monster or a spellcaster monster from your extra deck, use a monster from the hand or field. So the benefit of something like this, again, is straight away you can activate this, search out the Mululu, and then you utilize the fusion ability of that plus Dark Magician, gets you Dragoon, and then your Mululu will get you the ability to set one and then negate one. So it's really kind of cool that this can kind of, this plus the right materials, like I think it's technically this plus Dark Magician gives you the ability of a negate off of the back of the Mululu, access to Dragoon, Dragoon with one pop and burn, and then a set spell or trap, which is really kind of cool because you can also set out a Rahu Dracotail. And the benefit of this one is it lets you fusion summon a Dracotail monster from your extra deck using monster from the hand, deck, or field. But for the rest of the turn after it resolves, you can't special summon from the extra deck except fusion monsters. So if I wasn't going to be focusing on getting this card set more times than not, you could actually very easily play multiples of it. But it is one of the ones that sometimes Dark Magician want to go into link plays to be defensive or aggressive. So it gives you that flip-flop to do either or. Then the final two Dracotail cards you play is the one Horn and the one Flame. So Flame lets you target a face-up spell or trap on the field, negate its effects, and then you get to place a Dracotail card from the grave or banishment to the bottom of the deck, accept itself, and then draw one card. So you can recycle your Rahu, you can also target the Ketu as well. And then the Dracotail Horn lets you target an attack position monster in the field, return it to the hand or extra deck, and then place a Dracotail card from the grave onto the or banishment to the bottom of the deck, accept itself, and draw one card. So that's it for pretty much the engine, so like the Dark Magician and the Dracotails. The final piece of the deck, of course, will be your hand trap. So we've got 3 Multimarine Fluoros, and then I went with 3 Bystials just because the main deck is actually really quite tight in comparison to the Blue Eyes version. And then on top of that, with the Bystials, they also double up as these dark dragons that you're going to need, or just dragons specifically, to get you into your Dragoon plays. And then what you're doing is, during your opponent's turn, what that gives you the benefit of is you can actually have the ability to get a monster to the field. So you could go, for example, a Druid Swarm, banish a card, summon it to the field, then activate with a Dark Magician in the hand your Femina, and then this will then allow you to go into a Dragoon and send. So you're just trying to double up everything you can do when you're utilizing them to their max potential. So that's it for the entire main deck. Now to show you the extra deck. So for the extra deck, the 2 Dracotail monsters we are playing are the one Arthleon and the one Glomel. Now the benefit of a cards like these is the Arthleon is probably arguably more disruptive. So it requires a Dracotail monster and then a monster in the hand. If this card is fusion summoned, you get to target monsters on the field and or graveyard up to the number of monsters used as material from the hand specifically. You return them to the hand. If 2 or more monsters are sent to the ground at the same time while this card is in the grave, except during down state, you get to special summon it, but you banish it when it leaves the field. So the idea is this, is if you were to activate this and summon it during your opponent's turn, because maybe you didn't have a Dark Magician, This would then, ideally, using a Dracotail from the hand and another monster from the hand, let you return 2 cards. Whether you want to add back the Femina, so you've got to utilise it during your turn, or if you want to utilise it to bounce back 2 of your opponent's monsters, you can do. The Glowmail gives you the ability that when you activate a Dracotail card or effect, you get a quick effect to target what card your opponent controls and destroy it. And then the exact same thing is if 2 or more cards are sent to the graveyard at the same time while this card's in the grave, you bring it back, but you banish it when it leaves the field. The other targets that of course your Dark Magician cards, but also targets you can summon during your opponent's turn, will be stuff like your Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, your Dark Magician of Dragon Knight, which I quite like because this then protects the card that you set if you use a Dracotail monster to get to it. You can also make your Dark Magicians, you don't have to, it's just an option you can play around with. You've then of course got your Secturion Dragon and the Mysterion the Dragon Crown. Now the benefits of both of these, more so the Centurion Dragon than anything else, is it requires a dragon and a spellcaster. This card loses 100 attack for each of your banished cards. While you control this fusion summon card, your opponent cannot activate the effects of special summon dragons or spellcasters they control. You get to target a dragon or spellcaster monster in your graveyard and special summon one and then place the other on the bottom of the deck. The benefit of something like this is it lets you bring back your Dracotail monsters, so that's how you get past the I want to use my normal summon for Rod, but I still want to use the Lucias. And on top of that as well, it lets you recycle your Bestials back to the bottom of the deck and you're good to roll. The Mysterion Dragon is a bit more aggressive. If anything, I'd probably consider playing 2 Secturion Dragons rather than the 1-on-1, but this can still be quite useful. So it can't be used as fusion material, so it gets a nice bit of a benefit if you are facing something like Super Poly. It loses 100 attack for each of your banished cards. If a monster uses its effect to special summon itself, or a monster with the same original type, except during the damage step, you get to target one of those special summon monsters and banish that monster. You banish all monsters from the field with the same original type. So it's a really nice kind of clear out if there is a card that is summoning itself of the same type. And then with Dark Magician, we do play a very small link package. We've got the Umduct, SP, and Dark, and then the Selene, Access Code, and I like for the defensive option, instead of Access Code, we've got the Mekk-Knight Crusader Avramax. Now, a lot of people question why I play Umduct instead of Link Spider. The reason for that is you get a dragon effect monster should you need it sometimes, but more times than not, what you're doing is Selene will bring back Dark Magician, you turn it into Umduct, you then put these both together, either an Avramax or an Access Code. By the time you've made this play with the Access Code, you'll have a Wind, a Light, and a Dark, because you probably would have gone through the Dark Charmer to get into Selene in the first place. And then the final card is the Super Star Slayer Typhon. You don't have to play this card, it's entirely up to you. You have more flexible options should you want to look at them. It just kind of gives you a bit more of a range depending on what you want to play and how you want to utilize them. Anyway, that's it for the entire profile. If you do have any questions at all, by all means, please put in the comments down below. I'm always happy to answer them. For now, as absolutely always, stay safe and of course, happy dueling.